Typically, when people talk about not being able to afford IVF and other types of reproductive processes not working, the first thing that people, or one of the first things that people will say is, why don't you just adopt? Or why don't you be a foster parent and foster to adopt? I tried that. It does not always work out. So, yes, I'm single and I was going to be a single mother by choice, and I was going to do local fostering to adopt. I tried that process years ago. At the time, I had a Chihuahua and another dog. We never found out what she was. Now, this dog was very kind, very friendly, very welcoming, and my Chihuahua was very much a Chihuahua. Okay, and so when the social worker, I went through the whole thing. I went through the training, everything perfect. But when the social worker came to do the home visit, she just had a really stank attitude. Like, literally, if you look up stank attitude with the almost literal nose turned up in the air, meh, kind of look on her face. That's how she was from the moment I opened the door. I came to the door and she had an attitude as if she had all the packets of ketchup and only wanted to give me two for an extra large fry. Like, this girl was ugly acting. She walked around my house, and I had a nice townhouse. She walked around like, the whole time with everything. And so I'm carrying my dog because she didn't greet my dogs. And no, you shouldn't, walk up to dogs you don't know and reach out appendages, but you should acknowledge their presence a little bit, or at least that's what I believe. I'm not a dog expert, but I just believe anytime people have acknowledged a dog, that kind of helps the situation. I could be wrong. So she never acknowledged the dogs. And when I saw that my dog was upset and she wasn't acknowledging, I just carried the dog around with me. I mean, that's what I do anyway. So at the end of the visit, she was like, well, you're going to have to put the dog down, with an attitude. And I'm like, okay. So I put the dog down. And the dog stood by me and barked, and then slowly started trying to go up to her and sniff her. And then she still didn't acknowledge the dog, which, okay, that's fine at this point because the dog is down. And the dog sniffs her and starts barking. Okay, the dog doesn't know you. Okay, had I given you a treat to give the dog would have ran up and grabbed the treat and ran away and barked a little bit more, but would have gotten used to you. Because at the time, I was dating somebody. And that's how we got over the dogs barking at him. It was the same way. Every time he would just give them a treat until they fell in love with him because they associated treats. So she was very rude about that too. The dog never tried to bite her. She would just go up to her and then she would just back up barking. And it might have been because she picked up on that ugly vibe. Dogs can pick up on vibes because, again, same thing with my boyfriend, but it was less because he loved dogs, and I guess they could tell. I don't know. Anyway, so she ended up saying, okay, well, you're going to have your dog evaluated because your dog is showing signs of aggression. It still pisses me off to this day, and that's been years. My dog was not showing signs of aggression. My dog was showing, I don't know you. You walked up in my house. You never did greet me. You got an attitude. I don't like you. That's what my dog was showing. But at any rate, so she said, you're going to have to get a letter from a veterinarian that says that your dog is not dangerous and that your dog will not attack under any circumstances. If its ears are pulled, if its tail is pulled, if it's hit or kicked, it's not going to respond. So you're stupid. Okay, and I could probably get a letter from the vet that says you're stupid because you can never guarantee how an animal is going to behave. And if you would allow a child to be alone with any kind of dog, even a dog that's certified, which this vet said she couldn't do, and that no vet should certify an animal guaranteeing how they would act. If you gonna leave a child alone with a dog to do all of that, then you shouldn't have a child or a dog. Okay, neither one. I don't care how old a child is, even a preteen. I am not going to let you be alone with a pet until I know how you are as a preteen. And as a little kid, I'm not going to, because little kids don't always understand the permanency of their actions or reactions. And sometimes they get mad and they do stupid stuff like hit or kick things. Now, not all kids, because some young kids already realize, yes, pets are live, living creatures or whatever. But in a situation where it's a child and I don't know what they've been through up until the point that I get them, you're not going to ever be alone with my pets. You're just not. I don't care how sweet you are, you're just not. Okay? And it's irresponsible for anybody to leave any type of pet alone with a kid. I almost want to say even cats, and cats are aloof, they'll stay away from you. But you just cannot do it until you see your kid in various situations and you work up to that. And I might even like be in the background looking to see what's going to happen, because I don't want the kid to hurt my dogs, and I don't want my dogs to hurt a kid. But nobody ever asked the fact that my dogs never hurt kids. And if she wasn't around, but a kid came in, my dog would have ran up, sniffed them, followed them around to be pet, waited to see if the kid would give them treats, because my dogs had always been around kids. That Chihuahua was actually a foster dog. And at the time, my sister had young kids, like no more than 8 or 9 years old. And the dog was walking around those kids. Now, I wanted to foster 0 to 2. I'm not going to leave no 0 to 2-year-old anywhere near a dog by themselves. You're not going to get a chance to pull the tail or pull the ears, because if I do let the dog come near you or you near the dog, I'm going to be holding your hands and I'm going to teach you how to pet the dog, and I'm going to show you no to pulling things and stuff like that. You can teach, but again, that's still too young. Even if you came out of my body, you're not going to be left alone. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent. You get the point. So I took my dog to the vet, as I said, and my vet said, no, I can't certify this. Now, mind you, at the vet, my dog was hiding under the bench, okay? But she was like, no, I can't write that kind of letter because it's an animal, and animals are always going to have some level of being unpredictable. But now I met this lady years later because I ended up working with her children. And yes, she probably wasn't the best vet to take her to, because if this lady, the social worker, had actually looked at my Chihuahua's adoption paperwork, you know that before they'll allow the dogs to be fostered or adopted out into families with kids, because my dog was a foster dog, they have to pass a temperament test, and she had already passed. So at any rate, I don't think this lady really wanted to be helpful, because she ended up trying to rush me to get the letter. She kept, eventually she sent me a letter, well, I haven't heard from you and it's been this long, are you still interested or whatever. And so I just kind of gave up, because the way her attitude was, if I reached out to ask her questions, I asked her, okay, well, do your clients take their dogs to any particular vets that understand this process so I can take my dog to that vet? And she just was not receptive. I don't even think she ever really replied to that. And then I think either she did and she was like, no, I can't assist you in the process or whatever. So it just kind of seemed like it was something personal. Like she either just really didn't like dogs, or it was some kind of vibe I gave her that she didn't like. And so I just kind of had to walk away from that process. So I might consider it again, but I do currently have 2 dogs. One is a poodle. She's about a year old. She's pretty much friendly. And then I have one, and I don't really know how he would be around kids because I've never seen him around kids. But he is a barker. Like he does bark. And so I just don't know if I want to go through the hours and the time that you have to sacrifice to get certified, because I would have to start the process over, only to have somebody like that come in again and see something stupid and just be like, no. Like, if you could guarantee me that I'm going to have a social worker that understands dogs and dog behaviors and is just going to help me through the process, then I might. But at this point, I just don't think I would want to try to invest all that time and get that far to only be turned away again.